Good morning, my dear friend. As the first light of morning rises over the horizon, the world seems to pause. The sky glows with gentle shades of blue and gold, and the air carries a cool stillness that only belongs to dawn. This sacred moment calls us to stop before the noise of the day begins. Morning is when the heart feels most tender, most open, when even the faintest whisper of hope can be heard. There is something holy about the early hours, as if heaven leans a little closer, waiting for us to lift our eyes. Picture for a moment someone who wakes before sunrise, not because of peace, but because of restless thoughts. Perhaps it is a mother lying awake after a sleepless night of worry for her children. Perhaps it is a man who has just lost his job and feels the weight of bills sitting on the kitchen table. Maybe it is a young person carrying the silent wound of rejection, wondering if life still has meaning. Each of us, in one way or another, knows what it feels like to sit awake in the dark with a heart heavy from fear or loss. In those hours when the world is quiet, tears often fall unseen. Questions rise louder than the morning birds outside. Why is this happening? How can I keep going? Where will I find strength when everything seems broken? If you have ever whispered these questions into the silence, you are not alone. Generations before us have stood in the same place, staring at a dawn that felt uncertain. And yet, this is what makes morning so powerful. The night may leave shadows, but the sunrise always comes. The new day does not erase pain, but it does promise possibility. At this fragile crossing from darkness to light, we are invited into something greater than survival. We are invited into a sacred walk, a journey where God's presence meets our weakness and fills it with hope. This is the true heart of prayer. Prayer is not a string of words we repeat, nor a checklist of duties. Prayer is a conversation with the one who knows our struggles better than we do. It is the surrender of fear, the exchange of sorrow for peace, the invitation for strength to face the day. When we open our hearts to this dialogue, we discover we are not abandoned wanderers. We are beloved travelers guided by divine hands. Think again of the one who woke weary and afraid. When that heart dares to whisper even a single honest word to God, something shifts. The problem may not vanish, but courage begins to stir. The weight is no longer carried alone. Faith rises not because life is suddenly easy, but because love has drawn near. That is the hidden miracle of prayer. It changes how we walk, even before it changes the road beneath our feet. My friend, you may be here today carrying your own hidden burden. Your pain may be fresh, your doubts sharp, your dreams fragile, but your presence here is no accident. This morning is a personal invitation for you. You are not called only to endure, but to encounter. God is not watching from a distance as you struggle. He is calling you to walk with Him step by step. He is not waiting for you to fail, but longing to steady your trembling hands. This series of 24 morning prayers is meant to guide you into that daily companionship. Each prayer is a stepping stone laid on the path at dawn, helping you move from fear into peace, from sorrow into gratitude, from confusion into clarity. Throughout these chapters, you will hear themes of surrender, trust, healing, provision, and perseverance. you will meet words drawn from Scripture, images that stir the imagination, and petitions that give voice to the deepest cries of the heart. Together we will begin with longing, move through confession, step into renewal, and arrive at joy and mission. Each chapter holds space for you to linger with God at the start of your day. By the end of this journey, you will not simply have prayed words. You will have learned to walk. You will walk with confidence, with humility, with faith that turns ordinary mornings into holy encounters. For now, as you listen in the quiet of this moment, I invite you to open your heart. Breathe slowly. Release the grip of yesterday's worries. Let the rising light remind you that mercy is new every morning. Believe that as you step into prayer, heaven bends low to hear you. This is not empty ritual. This is a conversation made for you. So let us step into this sacred morning together. Lay aside the mask, the rush, the hidden fear. Dare to believe that faith is stronger than despair, that prayer is louder than silence, that love is nearer than loneliness. This is your invitation. Walk with me now into 24 prayers that will shape your mornings and strengthen your soul. Dear Heavenly Father, as the morning light enters this quiet space, my heart stirs with both gratitude and need. I wake to a world that is often heavy, yet in this fragile moment, I feel the invitation to draw near to you. The first rays of dawn touch the sky, and I sense within me a longing deeper than words, a longing to be close to you, to walk with you through the hours ahead. I do not want to begin this day in my own strength. I want every breath and every step to be carried by the nearness of your presence. I admit that I come with emptiness. I admit that I come with restlessness. There are questions I do not know how to answer and burdens I do not know how to lift. Yet, even in this place of uncertainty, I feel the quiet pull of your love drawing me closer. The stillness of this morning reminds me that life is not meant to be rushed. It is meant to be received. And to be received with you. I open the door of my soul and I invite you in. I do not want to walk these roads alone, for I know that without you I am lost, but with you I am whole as the sun rises. I remember that you call me not to performance, not to empty ritual, but to relationship. You ask me to walk humbly with you, to let your mercy and justice shape the rhythm of my life. So I bring to you the fragments of my heart, the mistakes I made yesterday, the worries about tomorrow, the hidden wounds that still ache in silence. I place them before you and I whisper, take them, heal them, redeem them. In exchange, give me your peace. Give me your steady presence. Give me the courage to step into this day with hope. Father, I confess that I often try to find meaning in places that cannot satisfy. I chase after things that fade and lean on my own understanding, only to end up weary. This morning I release my grip on control. I ask that you guide me with wisdom greater than my own. Let your hand be upon my choices. Let your voice be the one that leads me when decisions are unclear. I want my path today to be straight, not because I have cleared it, but because you have directed it. I long for intimacy with you, not the shallow kind that visits on rare occasions, but the kind that breathes through every hour. Like Enoch who walked with you, I desire a life woven into yours so closely that I cannot tell where mine ends and yours begins. I want to sense your presence in the ordinary moments, in the quiet work, in the passing conversations. I want to carry the awareness of you as naturally as I carry breath. So I begin this day with surrender. I do not hold back my fear. I do not hold back my weakness. I bring it all into your light, knowing that your love is strong enough to carry what I cannot. Fill me with a fresh sense of wonder as I step into the hours ahead. Remind me that each task can become an altar when it is done with you beside me. Let even the smallest act of kindness, the simplest word of encouragement, be shaped by your spirit. I ask that you awaken in me a heart that is tender to your whispers. When I am tempted to rush past the sacred, slow me down. When I am tempted to despair, lift my gaze. When I forget the gift of your presence, remind me with a gentle nudge. Teach me to walk in rhythm with you, to listen as much as I speak, to trust more than I doubt. Father, I do not want this prayer to be the end, but the beginning. I want to carry it forward into each moment, letting it breathe through my work, through my relationships, through my thoughts. May this longing for you not fade when the day grows busy. May it deepen as I continue to walk, hand in hand with you. I stand in the first light of this new day, not with answers, but with openness, not with strength, but with surrender. And in this place of surrender, I find peace. In this place of surrender, I find hope. In this place of surrender, I find you. Father, the longing of my heart that stirred in the first light now leads me here, to the place where I must loosen my grip. I feel the echo of yesterday's prayer still alive within me, whispering, surrender, calling me deeper. I do not want to simply admire your presence at dawn. I want to trust you with the shape of my whole day. To trust means to yield, to lay down the illusion that I can manage every outcome by myself. My heart has carried the weight of decisions, the constant pull of uncertainty, the quiet fear of failure. I know these burdens are not mine to keep, yet I cling to them. This morning I choose differently. I bring before you the plans that fill my calendar, the duties waiting to be done, the faces that will cross my path. I confess my tendency to push forward by my own reasoning, to lean on strategies instead of leaning on you. I know my understanding is limited, colored by past mistakes, clouded by hidden desires. Still, I often treat my own wisdom as enough, only to end up exhausted and lost. Today I choose to release control. I place each hour in your hands, asking that you guide me as only you can. Father, I imagine opening my clenched fists and letting go. I let go of the dream I have been trying to force. I let go of the fear that if I do not control, everything will collapse. I let go of the hidden pride that believes I know best. Into your hands I surrender my work, my relationships, my health, my future. Into your hands I place the conversations I have not yet had, the challenges I cannot yet see, the road that stretches beyond the horizon. Lead me where I need to go, even if it is different from where I thought I should be. I ask you to teach me what it means to trust with my whole heart, not half trust, not trust mixed with doubt, but trust that breathes peace even when answers are delayed. Remind me that to surrender is not weakness but freedom. Freedom from the endless cycle of striving. Freedom from the fear of failure. Freedom from the burden of trying to control what was never mine to control. In surrender, I discover the rest my soul longs for. As I pray, I sense the subtle pull of fear whispering, "What if letting go means losing everything?" But you remind me that surrender does not end in loss. It ends in gain. To release is to receive. To let go of my way is to step into yours. And your way is always higher, always wiser, always filled with mercy. I picture myself walking a narrow path with fog all around. I cannot see the end, but I feel your hand guiding mine. I trust that each step, though uncertain to me, is certain to you. Dear Father, I ask for courage to yield when my heart wants to resist. I ask for strength to release when my instinct is to hold tighter. When I face decisions today, bring to my mind the gentle reminder that you are present, that you direct the path of those who acknowledge you. Let every choice, from the smallest to the greatest, become an act of trust. When my thoughts begin to spiral into worry, lift my eyes to remember that surrender is not a one-time act, but a rhythm to be lived, moment by moment. I bring to you my fears about what lies ahead, the fear of failing those I love, the fear of not having enough, the fear of being misunderstood. Each of these fears I lay down, replace them with steady confidence, with calm assurance, with the quiet joy of knowing you hold me. My mind tells me I must prepare for every possibility, but my heart knows I cannot. Only you see the whole picture. Only you know the hidden corners of tomorrow. I surrender to the mystery of your wisdom. Father, I surrender not only the heavy burdens, but also the desires of my heart. I place before you the dreams I carry, the hopes that keep me awake at night. If they are not from you, take them away gently. If they are from you, nurture them in your timing. I no longer want to force doors open by my own effort. I want to walk through the doors you open, trusting that each threshold is part of your design. I rest in the promise that those who trust in you will not be put to shame. So as the day unfolds, let surrender be my posture. Let trust be the air I breathe. When the unknown rises to test me, remind me that I am not navigating alone. You are my guide, my compass, my steady ground. With you, I do not need to control, for in your hands I am safe. Let this truth settle deep within me and shape the way I walk through the hours ahead. Father, the surrender I placed before you now opens a door to something even more precious, the quiet awareness that I do not walk this road by myself. Yesterday I longed for closeness. This morning I released control. And now my heart discovers the beauty of companionship. I have carried burdens long enough to know how heavy life feels when I believe I must face it alone. But with every breath I take now, I sense the truth rising gently. I am not abandoned. I am not left to wander through this day without you. You are here, not far away, not waiting at the finish line, but beside me on the path, step by step. Father, companionship is what my heart has been longing for, even when I could not name it. The world tells me to be strong on my own, to handle my struggles quietly, to walk forward without asking for help. But my soul knows this is not how you created me. You made me for connection, first with you and then with others. To walk with you is to remember I am never a solitary traveler. Even if human company fails, even if friendships grow distant, your presence is steady, a friend who does not leave when the road grows rough. I think of those who came before me, those whose lives were shaped by this truth. I remember how Enoch walked with you, how his life was marked not by great monuments, but by quiet faithfulness. He did not only call on you in times of trouble, he stayed near to you in the ordinary, in the rhythm of each day. I want that kind of closeness, not occasional visits but constant communion. Teach me to walk as he walked, to live with the awareness that you are here, unseen yet deeply present, closer than my own breath. Father, companionship with you means more than comfort. It means guidance. I may not see the twists and turns ahead, but I can rest in the assurance that you see them clearly. If I stumble, you lift me. If I pause in fear, you steady me. If I lose my way, you gently redirect my steps. I ask you today to keep me attentive to your voice, to notice when you whisper in the quiet, to recognize when you close a door or open another. I do not want to rush past your leading. I want to stay in step with you. There are times, Lord, when I am tempted to treat prayer as a meeting where I report my progress to you. Yet what you ask for is not a report, but a relationship. You do not want me to live the day alone and return at night with updates. You want to share the journey, to be present in the laughter, the tears, the interruptions, and the silence. So I ask you to remind me, even in the busiest moments, that you are near. Let the awareness of your companionship become as natural as the rhythm my heartbeat. Father, I picture this day as a long road stretching ahead. There may be hills I must climb, valleys I must cross, detours I did not expect. Yet with you beside me, no place is wasted. Every step becomes sacred, because it is taken with you. When the road feels long, let me lean on your strength. When the path feels lonely, let me hear the quiet reassurance of your voice. When joy breaks through, let me share it with you as naturally as a child shares delight with a parent. I ask that you teach me to speak with you as I go, not just in moments of formality, but in every pause of the day. Let my words flow as conversation, simple and honest, lifting my thoughts, my questions, my gratitude, and let me also listen. Let me pause long enough to hear your gentle guidance, to notice the nudges of your spirit, to recognize the peace that signals your approval. Help me not to confuse silence with absence. For even when you are quiet, you are still here, walking beside me. Companionship with you also means courage. It means I can step into unknown places with confidence, not because I know what awaits, but because I know who goes with me. I ask you to strengthen this trust. When I enter rooms filled with pressure, remind me that I do not stand there alone. When I face decisions that stretch me, remind me that wisdom is not far off. It is with me in your presence. When I feel unseen or misunderstood, remind me that you see me fully and love me completely. So as I begin the journey of this day, let my first thought be this: I am not alone. Let every step carry the quiet joy of companionship. Let every task, no matter how simple, be colored by the awareness that you share it with me. Father, I do not know what this road will bring, but I know you will walk it with me, and that is enough. Father, as I continue walking this road with you, my heart realizes that companionship is not only about feeling your nearness, but also about learning to see through your eyes. I have known what it is to look at life through the lens of fear, disappointment, or limitation. Too often my perspective is shaped by the weight of my circumstances, by the voices around me, or by the doubts within me. Yet when I walk with you, I begin to notice that there is another way to see. You invite me to lift my gaze beyond the narrow frame of my own understanding and to view my life through the wide horizon of your truth. Father, I admit that my natural vision is limited. I see problems more quickly than possibilities. I dwell on what I lack instead of what I have been given. I measure myself against others and lose sight of the grace that has carried me. But you call me to look differently. You remind me that I am not trapped in the smallness of human thinking, but invited into the vastness of your wisdom. When I fix my eyes on what is temporary, I lose hope. When I set my mind on what is eternal, I find strength. This morning I ask you to reframe my perspective. Shift the way I interpret the challenges before me. Help me to see that obstacles are not signs of abandonment, but opportunities for faith to grow. Let me remember that delays are not denials, but moments for patience to be refined. Teach me to interpret both blessings and trials through the lens of your faithfulness. If good things come, let me not grow proud. If difficulties arise, let me not despair. Instead, anchor my vision in the truth that you are working all things together for my good. Father, I picture a window streaked with dust. When the glass is clouded, the view beyond seems dim and distorted. But when it is cleaned, the world outside is revealed in its true light. In the same way, I ask you to cleanse the lens of my soul, wash away the smudges of bitterness, the stains of regret, the shadows of fear. Let me see clearly again. Let me notice your hand at work in places I once thought were empty. Let me recognize your protection in situations where I once only saw threats. Reframing my perspective does not mean denying reality. It does not mean pretending that pain is not real or that struggle does not exist. It means looking at those realities through the greater reality of your presence. It means believing that even in the valley there is light. Even in loss there is love. Even in uncertainty there is purpose. Father, open my eyes to recognize that what I face today is not the final word. You hold the final word, and it is always filled with hope. As I walk into this day, I ask you to reshape how I see others. Too often I judge quickly, assuming motives or measuring worth by appearances. Yet each person I meet carries a story I do not know and a dignity given by you. Help me to see them not as obstacles to my plans, but as souls worthy of kindness. Let me notice the unseen burdens others carry. Let me be patient when impatience feels easier. Let me speak gently when sharp words would come naturally. Let me extend grace the way you extend grace to me. Father, Perspective is not just about how I see my struggles or my neighbors. It is also about how I see myself. I confess that I often view myself through the lens of failure, weakness, or inadequacy. I rehearse old mistakes and allow them to define me. But you remind me that I am more than my past, more than my flaws. You call me beloved, chosen, redeemed. Teach me to see myself the way you see me, not through the mirror of shame, but through the mirror of grace. I ask for the courage to live today with this renewed vision. When discouragement whispers that nothing will change, let me remember that you are able to do far more than I can imagine. When fear tries to convince me that the future is bleak, let me remember that your promises are stronger than my anxieties. When doubt tells me that my prayers are wasted, let me remember that every word lifted to you is heard and treasured. So, Father, as the day unfolds, lift my perspective higher. Let me see beyond what is visible. Let me trust beyond what I understand. Let me walk with the assurance that what looks impossible to me is fully possible for you. And as I learn to see differently, let my words and actions reflect that new vision. Let others sense through me a hope that does not come from circumstance, but from the steady confidence that you are near. Father, as you reshape the way I see, I realize that clearer vision also means facing myself with honesty. When my perspective shifts, I cannot avoid the truth of where I have fallen short. I do not want to hide behind excuses or cover my failures with polite words. I want to bring my whole self before you, even the parts I am ashamed of. To walk with you closely means walking humbly, and humility begins with confession. So here, in the stillness of morning, I open the hidden corners of my soul. Father, I confess the times I have chosen my own way rather than listening for yours. I confess the moments when impatience spoke louder than kindness, when pride silenced compassion, when fear kept me from trusting you fully. I confess the thoughts I have harbored in secret, the words I regret, the actions I wish I could take back. These are not easy to admit, but I know you already see them. To confess is not to inform you, but to free myself from the chains of denial. I bring to you the weight of guilt I have carried. I have tried to bury it under business, to silence it with distractions. Yet it lingers in the quiet. Today I refuse to hide. I lay it down before you, believing that your mercy is greater than my failure. You are not surprised by my weakness, and you do not turn away in disgust. You meet my confession with gentle compassion, inviting me to step out of shame and into grace. Father, sometimes I fear that confession will lead to rejection. I worry that if I am truly known, I will not be truly loved. But you remind me through your word and through your spirit that nothing can separate me from your love. Your mercy does not run out when I stumble. Your patience does not expire when I repeat mistakes. You welcome me, not with anger but with tenderness, not with condemnation but with forgiveness. In your presence, honesty is not dangerous, it is healing. I ask you to help me forgive myself, for often I hold on to guilt even after you have released it. Teach me to believe that your mercy is real, that it washes me clean, that I do not need to keep punishing myself for what you have already redeemed. Let me learn to walk forward not in shame, but in gratitude, carrying the lessons of my past without being defined by them. Father, I also confess the times I have wounded others, whether through careless words, harsh reactions, or neglect. I know my actions have left marks. Bring to my mind those I need to make peace with. Give me the courage to apologize where I have caused pain. Give me the humility to listen without defending myself. Let my confession not only bring healing between you and me, but also restoration with those around me. In this moment of honesty, I do not want to stay focused only on failure. I want to lift my eyes to the beauty of your mercy. Your forgiveness is not reluctant. It is not partial. It is full, generous, and complete, like cool water washing away dust. Your grace refreshes my weary spirit, like gentle hands binding up wounds. Your love restores what shame tried to destroy. I receive this mercy not as something I must earn, but as a gift I can never deserve. Father, let confession become a daily rhythm, not a rare event. Let me learn to keep short accounts with you, to bring my struggles quickly instead of letting them grow heavy. Teach me that confession is not about groveling, but about returning home, not about dwelling on sin, but about rediscovering love. Let me feel the freedom that comes from honesty, the joy that follows forgiveness, the peace that flows when guilt no longer holds me. So as I rise into the tasks of this day, I carry a lighter heart. I am not perfect, but I am forgiven. I am not without flaws, but I am deeply loved. Let this awareness shape the way I live. Let mercy soften my words, patience guide my actions, and humility frame my choices. And when I stumble again, remind me that confession is always an open door, that your gentle mercy waits every morning like the rising sun. Father, after laying bare my heart in confession and tasting the sweetness of your mercy, I now see more clearly the chains that try to hold me back. Beneath my mistakes and regrets lies a deeper thread that often weaves itself into my days, the quiet but persistent whisper of fear. Fear that I will fail again. Fear that the ground beneath me will give way. Fear that I am not strong enough, wise enough, or worthy enough. Though I know your forgiveness, fear still lingers, trying to pull me into the shadows of doubt. Today, in the light of your presence, I choose to confront it. Father, I confess that fear has shaped too many of my choices. I have turned away from opportunities because I was afraid of rejection. I have remained silent when I should have spoken truth because I was afraid of conflict. I have rushed ahead in anxiety rather than waiting patiently because I was afraid you would not come through. Fear has stolen joy, dimmed hope, and silenced courage. Yet I also know that fear is not from you. You have not given me a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. I claim that truth now. I ask you to replace the anxious voices in my mind with the steady rhythm of your promises. When fear says, I am alone, remind me you are near. When fear says, I will never change, remind me that you make all things new. When fear says, I will not have enough, remind me that you are my provider. Let your word become the shield I lift when doubt attacks, the anchor I hold when storms rise, the light that guides me when the path is unclear. Father, I picture fear as a shadow that follows me. It grows longer when I face the unknown. It looms larger when I give it my attention. But shadows only exist because there is light. Your presence is that light. And when I turn toward you, the shadow loses its power. Help me to remember this when worry tries to overwhelm me. Teach me to turn my face toward your truth, to step into the brightness of your love, to let the shadow of fear shrink behind me. I also bring to you the fears that feel too heavy to carry alone. I fear for my loved ones, for their safety, their health, their future. I fear for my own path, wondering if I will have the strength to meet what lies ahead. I fear the silence of unanswered prayers, the waiting that stretches longer than I hoped. I place these fears in your hands, not to ignore them, but to release them. For if I keep them close, they will crush me. But if I place them in your care, they will lose their weight. Father, give me courage where fear has held me captive. Give me boldness to take the step I have avoided. Give me peace when my heart begins to race with anxiety. Let me breathe slowly and deeply, remembering that each breath is a gift from you, a reminder that I am sustained not by fear, but by grace. Let me walk into this day with shoulders lifted, not hunched under dread, with eyes open, not clouded by worry, with hands free to serve rather than clenched in self-protection. I ask you to protect me from the lies that fear often carries, lies that tell me I am unworthy, lies that tell me you have forgotten me, lies that tell me the worst will always come. Break those lies with your truth. Fill my ears with the sound of your voice, reminding me that I am chosen, loved, and never forsaken. Let your spirit whisper to me when fear grows loud, calming the storm within before it spills over into despair. Father, I know that casting out fear is not a single act, but a daily decision. Every time worry rises, I must choose again to trust. Every time doubt whispers, I must answer with faith. Every time anxiety presses in, I must turn toward you. Teach me this rhythm. Teach me to recognize fear quickly, to confront it with honesty, and to release it into your hands without delay. Let me not become comfortable with fear as if it belongs in my life. Let me reject it firmly, remembering that your perfect love drives it out. So as this day unfolds, I walk forward with renewed courage. Fear may try to follow, but I will not give it authority. My heart belongs to you. My thoughts are guarded by your peace. My steps are guided by your presence. And in that assurance, I find freedom to live fully, to love deeply, to move boldly into whatever lies ahead. Father, after laying fear at your feet and choosing courage in your presence, I now realize that courage alone is not enough. Strength for a single moment does not sustain a lifetime. What I need is not only a burst of bravery, but a steady source that keeps me alive from within. Fear can be cast out, but if I do not remain connected to you, emptiness creeps back in. So this morning I ask you to teach me the secret of abiding, of staying close, of drawing life not from my own effort, but from your spirit flowing through me. Father, I often confuse productivity with fruitfulness. I rush into tasks believing that more activity will prove my worth. Yet in the quiet, I hear your gentle reminder, apart from you, I can do nothing. I may achieve results that impress others, but without abiding in you, those results fade quickly. True fruit, the kind that nourishes and endures, only grows when I stay rooted in you. Help me to remember that my calling is not first to accomplish, but to remain. I picture a branch stretching toward the morning light. It does not strain or force itself to produce fruit. Its only task is to remain connected to the vine. From that connection, life flows naturally. Father, let me live like that branch. Keep me close to the source of all strength. Teach me to stay attached to you when distractions pull, when worries return, when pride tempts me to go my own way. Remind me that fruit is not manufactured by effort, but born out of connection. Abiding means slowing down enough to notice you. It means letting my heart rest in your love, even when my hands are busy. It means carrying awareness of you into every part of the day, not only in quiet prayer, but in work, in conversation, in decision-making. Father, let my soul remain in step with you, no matter what the hours bring. Do not let me slip into the illusion that once the morning ends, I must carry the weight alone. Stay with me, and let me stay with you. All through the day, I ask you to produce in me fruit that reflects your heart, love that is patient even when tested, joy that rises above circumstance, peace that steadies me in uncertainty, patience that endures without resentment, kindness that notices small needs, goodness that acts without recognition, faithfulness that continues when no one is watching, gentleness that calms storms instead of adding to them, self-control that keeps me anchored in wisdom. These are the fruits I long to carry, not for my glory, but for yours. Father, I know that abiding also means pruning. There are parts of me that must be cut away if I am to bear more fruit. Attitudes that choke out compassion, habits that drain my time and energy, thoughts that weaken my faith. Though pruning hurts, it is the proof of your care, shaping me into who I am meant to be. Give me the courage to welcome this refining, trusting that what you remove is always replaced by something richer, stronger, and more lasting. Let abiding not be a concept, but a lived reality. Let it shape how I approach my relationships, how I speak to those closest to me, how I handle frustration, how I respond to opportunities. If I remain in you, my words will carry grace, my actions will carry light, my presence will carry peace. Others will not see perfection, but they will sense something different, something rooted in a deeper source. Let them see not me, but the reflection of you. Father, there will be times when abiding feels difficult, when the pull of business or the weight of exhaustion tempts me to disconnect. In those moments, remind me that abiding is not about striving harder, but about leaning deeper. It is not about proving anything, but about trusting everything. Let me come back to you quickly, again and again, never ashamed of needing you, but grateful that I do. So as I step into this day, let abiding be my first choice and my continual return. Keep me near to you so that the fruit of my life may feed those around me. Let every word, every thought, every action become evidence of a heart that is rooted in your love and flowing with your spirit. Father, let my life not be measured by what I achieve, but by what grows through me, because I remained in you. Father, abiding you has opened my eyes to the truth that fruit is not meant to remain hidden within me, but to be shared through my life. Yesterday I asked that my heart stay connected to your spirit so that fruit might grow. Today I realize that fruit has a purpose. It is not for decoration or for my pride, but for nourishment, for blessing, for revealing who you are to the world around me. The evidence of abiding is not what I keep to myself, but what flows out in daily interactions. So this morning I ask that the fruit of your Spirit would shape my words, my choices, and my presence in every place I go. Father, I long to walk in love that is not fragile or selective, but steadfast and genuine. Let love be more than polite kindness or empty gestures. Let it be the kind of love that notices the overlooked, that extends compassion without expecting repayment, that remains patient when others test my patience. Teach me to choose love not as a fleeting feeling, but as a steady action, one that mirrors the way you love me. I long for joy that is not tied to circumstances. Too often I wait for good news before I let joy rise. But joy rooted in you is deeper than changing events. Father, let joy spill out of me even in difficult moments, not as denial of pain, but as a quiet confidence that you are near. Let my laughter, my gratitude, and even my calm presence become signs of joy that others can sense. I long for peace that guards my heart when storms surround me, peace that does not come from solved problems, but from trust in your sovereignty. Father, let me carry peace like a gentle fragrance into the rooms I enter when tension rises. Let my calm spirit ease it when fear spreads. Let my trust in you steady those around me. Let peace be the anchor that steadies not only me, but those I love. I long for patience that waits without bitterness, patience that does not grow weary when progress is slow, patience that endures without complaint, patience that keeps hope alive even in delay. Father, let me practice patience in small moments today, whether in traffic, in conversations, or in the waiting spaces of life. Teach me that patience is not weakness, but strength under control. The kind of strength that reflects your nature. I long for kindness that is thoughtful and intentional, not random acts that are convenient, but consistent acts that cost me something. Father, make me sensitive to needs I might otherwise overlook. A kind word to a stranger, a gentle tone in disagreement, a listening ear for someone who feels unseen. Let kindness flow naturally from me, because it flows from you into me. I long for goodness that is more than surface politeness, goodness that acts with integrity when no one else is watching, goodness that chooses honesty over gain, generosity over greed, justice over selfishness. Father, shape my conscience to reflect your goodness, so that even the hidden decisions of my life align with your truth. I long for faithfulness that perseveres, faithfulness that shows up consistently, not only in public moments, but in private devotion, faithfulness that keeps promises, that follows through, that endures through discouragement. Father, let my life reflect your faithfulness to me, steady and true, day after day. I long for gentleness that is not weakness, but strength clothed in tenderness. Gentleness that calms rather than provokes, that soothes rather than stirs up conflict, that heals rather than wounds. Father, let my tone, my touch, and my presence reflect the gentleness of your heart. I long for self-control that guards my desires and keeps me rooted in wisdom. Self-control that resists impulses, that chooses discipline over indulgence, that acts with clarity instead of reaction. Father, help me to master my thoughts and actions so they do not master me. Let self-control be the quiet strength that protects what you have planted within me. Father, I do not want these qualities to remain ideals or words on a page. I want them alive and active in me. Let the fruit of your Spirit show up in the ordinary places of today, in my family, my work, my friendships, even in my thoughts when no one else sees. Let each quality be tested and proven real through practice. Let them not only shape who I am becoming, but also touch the lives of those around me, drawing them closer to you through the witness of a life transformed. So as I rise into this new day, I carry this prayer not as a list to achieve, but as a longing to live by your Spirit. Keep me close to you so that the fruit will continue to grow. Let the world taste and see through me that you are good. Father, as the fruit of your Spirit begins to shape my life, I see that these qualities are not grown in calm and ease alone, but often tested in the middle of conflict and pressure. Love must be proven where there is hostility. Joy must be chosen where there is discouragement. Peace must be held where there is chaos. Patience must be lived where there is frustration. The fruit you plant within me becomes visible not in comfort, but in battle. And so, Father, I ask you this morning to open my eyes in the midst of the struggles I face, to see not only the opposition, but also your presence surrounding me. I confess that when challenges rise like walls around me, I often panic. My heart races, my thoughts spin, and I focus only on what threatens me. I see the strength of what is against me and forget the greater strength that is for me. Yet you remind me that my battles are not mine to fight alone. You remind me of the story where a servant trembled at the sight of an army, and through prayer his eyes were opened to see chariots of fire on the hills. Father, I ask for that same vision today. Let me not be blinded by fear, but awaken to your protection. There are enemies I can name clearly: the criticism of others, the obstacles in my path, the circumstances beyond my control. And there are enemies unseen, the whispers of doubt, the pull of temptation, the shadow of despair. Father, I bring them all before you now. Let me see them not as unconquerable giants, but as opportunities for you to display your power. Open my eyes to recognize that the greater army is on my side, that I am surrounded by your strength, even when I feel outnumbered. Father, battles are not only fought outside of me, but also within. My heart becomes a battlefield where faith and fear wrestle, where hope and despair collide. Too often I surrender to the wrong side, letting discouragement win the day. But today I ask for courage to stand firm, not in my own ability, but in the truth of your promises. Give me the clarity to recognize lies when they approach dressed as truth. Give me the discernment to distinguish your leading from the noise of distraction. Give me the strength to resist what would pull me away from you. Open my eyes, Father, to see that struggle is not always defeat. Some battles strengthen me, teaching endurance, shaping character. Deepening trust. Some resistance builds the very muscles of faith I will need for the journey ahead. Help me not to despise difficulty, but to interpret it through your purpose. Let me remember that even when the fight feels fierce, your spirit within me is greater than anything against me. Father, I know that in times of conflict, I am tempted to rely on human weapons. Sharp words. Stubborn pride. Defensive walls. Yet you call me to a different way. You arm me with peace, with truth, with righteousness, with prayer. Teach me to use these weapons faithfully. Teach me to answer anger with gentleness, lies with integrity, despair with hope. Remind me that victory is not measured by defeating others, but by remaining faithful to you. I bring before you the battles I already know await me today, the conversations that may grow tense, the decisions that weigh heavy, the temptations that seek to distract. I do not ask that you remove every difficulty, but that you give me eyes to see them through your presence. Let me recognize the invisible support surrounding me. Let me remember that I do not step into these moments alone, and when the unexpected arises, steady my heart quickly so that fear does not take root. Father, I ask that my response in battle bear witness to who you are. Let my life speak of courage when others expect fear. Let my calm speak of trust when others expect panic. Let my hope shine when others see only despair, not so that I am admired, but so that you are revealed. Let those who watch me struggle also see me strengthened by you. Let them realize that my confidence does not come from myself, but from the one who walks beside me. So as I step forward into this day, open my eyes. Let me see the threats, but also the truth beyond the threats. Let me see the difficulties, but also the opportunities hidden within them. Let me see not only what stands against me, but also what stands for me. Let me walk with vision that is clear, with faith that is steady, with courage that is rooted in the certainty that you surround me with unfailing love and unshakable strength. Father, after you opened my eyes in the battles I face, I now realize that vision is not only about what surrounds me in the present, but also how I interpret the past that lingers within me. The struggles I carry are not only from today as challenges, but also from stories written long ago, stories of failure, disappointment, and regret. Too often, I let those old chapters define who I am and what I can become. Yet you remind me that the story is not finished. You are the author, and you are able to take the broken pieces of my past and weave them into something filled with purpose. So this morning, Father, I place my story into your hands, asking you to rewrite it with hope. I confess that I sometimes replay memories of where I stumbled, almost as if I am watching the same scene again and again. I remember words I should not have spoken, paths I should not have taken, opportunities I should not have ignored. These memories rise like ghosts, whispering that I will never be more than my mistakes. But you do not leave me in those shadows. You lift me and show me that redemption is stronger than regret. With you, even failure can become a foundation for growth. Father, teach me to see my past not as a chain, but as a classroom. Let my wrong turns become lessons that shape wisdom. Let my pain become compassion for others. Let my scars become testimonies of your healing. Help me to stop hiding from my history and instead bring it fully before you. When I do, I see that you are able to transform even the darkest chapters into pages that point toward your faithfulness. There are also moments in my story where wounds from others left deep marks. Times when trust was broken, promises were shattered, or love was withheld. Those moments whisper lies that I am not worthy of joy, or that my future will mirror my past. Father, silence those lies with your truth. Rewrite those painful lines with the assurance that I am loved, chosen, and restored in you. Do not let bitterness be the final word. Let healing flow where there was hurt, and let forgiveness bring freedom where resentment once grew. Father, I know rewriting my story does not erase what has happened. It does not pretend that loss never came or that failure never occurred. Instead, it changes how those moments are understood through your eyes. Endings can become beginnings. Setbacks can prepare the way for strength, and emptiness can create space for blessing. You remind me that nothing is wasted when it is placed in your hands. This morning I ask you to reshape the narrative I carry inside me. Replace the headline of defeat with the headline of hope. Replace the chapter of despair with a chapter of redemption. Replace the script of fear with the script of courage. Let my inner story reflect not only where I have been, but also where you are leading me. Teach me to speak differently about myself, not as one defined by shame, but as one defined by grace. Father, let this rewriting of my story also affect how I see the future. Too often I approach tomorrow with dread, expecting it to repeat yesterday's failures. But when you rewrite, the future is no longer a copy of the past. It is an open page waiting for new words, new opportunities, new mercies. Give me courage to walk forward believing that better chapters are ahead. Let hope rise in me each time despair tries to whisper that nothing will change. I ask that my story, once marked by brokenness, become a source of encouragement for others. Let those who know my failures also see my restoration. Let those who watched me stumble also see me stand again. Let my life show that hope is real, not because I created it, but because you rewrote what I could not. Let my journey testify that no one is too far, no past too dark, no failure too final for your redeeming hand. So, Father, as I step into this day, let me walk with the quiet assurance that my story is still being written. Let me hold the pen loosely and trust you as the true author. Let me carry hope as the theme of every chapter yet to come. And when I look back, let me no longer see only regret, but the thread of your grace weaving beauty out of brokenness. Father, as I offer my story to you and allow hope to rewrite the pages of my past, I realize that the story continues today, not only in grand moments, but in the smallest details of daily life. Most of my journey is not written in dramatic scenes, but in ordinary tasks, quiet choices, and hidden decisions. And yet it is in these simple moments that integrity is most often tested. So this morning I ask you to help me live with honesty, consistency, and faithfulness in the ordinary places where no one else may notice, but where you always see. Father, I admit that I sometimes treat ordinary duties as unimportant. I move quickly through them, believing they carry little meaning compared to larger goals, but you remind me that nothing is insignificant when it is done with a heart turned toward you. Folding laundry, preparing meals, answering messages, sitting in traffic. These moments can either be wasted in frustration or offered as acts of worship. Teach me to live with integrity in them, choosing patience over irritation, kindness over indifference, diligence over neglect. Integrity means being the same person in private as I am in public. Father, help me to close the gap between what I say and what I do. When I speak of kindness, let me practice it at home, where it matters most. When I speak of patience, let me embody it in conversations that test me. When I speak of honesty, let my words remain true even when no one is listening. Integrity is not about perfection, but about alignment, about letting my actions reflect the faith I confess. There are moments when it is easier to act with care before others and to become careless when I am unseen. Father, remind me that you are always present, that my character is not hidden from you. Shape me into someone who chooses what is right even when it is costly, even when shortcuts would be easier, even when compromise seems harmless. Let my inner life carry the same weight of honor as my outer life. I ask you to teach me to find holiness in the ordinary. Let the small decisions of today become seeds of faithfulness that grow into larger fruits tomorrow, a gentle answer that diffuses conflict, a quiet prayer whispered before a task, a moment of gratitude in the middle of routine. These are not wasted acts. They are stones laid on the path of integrity, building a road that leads closer to you. Father, integrity also means owning my mistakes quickly. When I fail in the ordinary, when I lose patience or speak carelessly, let me not hide behind pride. Give me courage to admit it, to apologize when needed, to turn back rather than continuing down the wrong path. Let integrity not only guide my successes, but also shape how I respond to failure. For integrity is proven not when everything goes right, but when I choose honesty, even after I have gone wrong. I ask that my integrity in the ordinary become a blessing to those around me. Let my family sense steadiness in my words and actions. Let my coworkers or friends notice reliability that is not forced but genuine. Let strangers see small glimpses of goodness that point beyond me to you. Integrity is not about drawing attention, but about creating trust, about reflecting your character in ways that build peace and stability in the lives of others. Father, I know there will be temptations to cut corners today, to choose comfort over commitment, to let frustration guide my tone. Remind me in those moments that integrity matters more than convenience. Remind me that the ordinary is not wasted space, but sacred ground. Let my daily routines become a canvas where your grace is displayed in quiet colors, where consistency speaks louder than grand gestures, where hidden faithfulness shines brighter than visible success. So as I enter this day, let integrity be the thread that runs through each moment. Let honesty guide my speech, humility shape my choices, and faithfulness anchor my actions. Father, help me to live in such a way that even in the most ordinary places, I honor you. Let my life remind me and others that true holiness is not found only in the extraordinary, but in the integrity of the everyday walk with you. Father, as integrity shapes the way I live in the ordinary, I begin to see that my faith is not only about what I avoid or resist, but also about what I give. Integrity anchors me in truth, but generosity calls me to extend that truth outward. To walk closely with you means that my life cannot remain turned inward. It must open. It must pour out. It must carry healing into the lives of others. This morning I ask you to form in me a heart that is generous, not only with possessions, but with mercy, with time, with compassion, and with love. Father, I confess that I often measure generosity by what I can spare. I give when it is convenient, when I feel safe, when I know it will not cost me too much. Yet true generosity is not about what remains after I have kept enough for myself. It is about trusting you enough to let go freely, believing that you are the source who never runs dry. Teach me to give not from fear of loss, but from confidence in your endless provision. I ask you to open my eyes to those around me who need more than material help. Some hunger for encouragement, for a kind word spoken at the right moment. Some thirst for understanding, for someone to listen without judgment. Some carry wounds unseen, waiting for a gentle touch of compassion. Father, let me not overlook these needs. Make me attentive so that my generosity is not blind or careless, but thoughtful and healing. I remember how generosity changes not only the receiver, but also the giver. When I release what I hold tightly, my heart is freed from the grip of fear and greed. When I give my time, I discover connection. When I give kindness, I find joy rising within me. When I give forgiveness, I taste freedom. Father, let generosity be not a duty but a joy, a rhythm of life that mirrors your own nature. You have always been generous toward me. Every breath I take is a gift. Every sunrise is a gift. Every chance to begin again is a gift. When I count these blessings, I realize how lavishly you have poured into my life. Teach me to mirror that generosity, not hoarding what was freely given, but letting it flow through me as a stream flows from its source. Let my open hands become channels of your grace. Father, there are times when giving feels too hard, when wounds from the past make me hesitant. Perhaps I have given trust and been betrayed. Perhaps I have given love and been rejected. Perhaps I have given help and been taken advantage of. These memories whisper that it is safer to close my heart. Yet you call me to keep it open, for generosity is not wasted even when misunderstood. Remind me that when I give in your name, the fruit is eternal even if unseen in the moment. Let my generosity bring healing. Father, healing for those weighed down by loneliness, when I choose to sit with them. Healing for those pressed by shame when I offer grace instead of judgment. Healing for those burdened by lack when I share what I have. Healing for my own soul when I release bitterness through forgiveness. Teach me that giving restores, not only to others but also within me. I ask you to show me practical ways to live this today. Perhaps it is a simple word of encouragement to a coworker. Perhaps it is a patient response when I am tempted to be harsh. Perhaps it is offering help when it would be easier to walk away. Whatever form it takes, let generosity mark my day. Let it be natural, flowing from the life of your spirit in me, not forced but genuine, not calculated but willing. Father, I do not want to hold back in fear. I want to live with open hands and an open heart. I want to trust that in giving, I am not emptying myself, but making room for more of your grace. Let my generosity be the evidence of your love within me. Let it be the bridge that points others to you. Let it be the quiet act that heals wounds, softens hearts, and brings light into shadows. So as I walk into this day, let generosity define my steps. Let it shape my conversations, guide my actions, and color my presence. Father, make me generous in spirit, generous in mercy, generous in love, so that everywhere I go, healing flows from a life that has first been healed by you. Father, as generosity flows outward and touches others with healing, I cannot forget that I too am in need of healing. To give fully, I must also be restored. To walk faithfully, I must be renewed within. So I come to you this morning, not only as one who desires to serve, but also as one who longs to be made whole. I bring before you my body, my mind, and my spirit, asking you to touch every part of me with your restoring hand. Father, I confess that my body grows weary. There are aches that linger, fatigue that clings, illnesses that remind me of my frailty. Sometimes I push myself as though I am unbreakable, only to find that I am weak. Other times I neglect the care of my body, forgetting that it is a temple meant to honor you. Today I surrender my physical self to you. Strengthen what has grown tired. Restore what has been strained. Bring balance to what has been neglected, whether through rest, through wisdom in choices, or through your miraculous touch. I ask you to bring healing to my body so that I may serve you with renewed strength. My mind too needs your care. Father, thoughts swirl, worries multiply, and memories of pain return at unexpected moments. Anxiety clouds judgment, and confusion dulls clarity. I bring to you the noise of my inner world. Calm the storms within my thoughts. Quiet the voices of fear. Clear away the fog of doubt. Replace turmoil with peace, uncertainty with trust, despair with hope. Let my mind be guarded by your truth, so that I may think clearly, choose wisely, and live with focus. Father, I bring also my spirit, the deepest part of me. Sometimes I feel strong in faith. Other times I feel fragile, like a flickering flame struggling to stay alive. I confess the dryness that sometimes overtakes me, the heaviness that makes prayer feel difficult, the distance I feel even when I know you are near. Breathe life into my spirit again. Revive what has grown tired. Rekindle the fire of devotion. Pour fresh joy into my soul, so that I may walk with you not out of duty, but out of delight. I know, Father, that healing is not always instant. Sometimes you choose to heal through process, teaching patience and dependence along the way. Sometimes you allow weakness to remain, so that I lean on your strength rather than my own. Whatever form healing takes, I trust that you are present in it. Teach me to wait with faith, to endure with hope, and to recognize even small steps of restoration as signs of your love. Father, I also lift up the places in my life where brokenness has come from wounds inflicted by others, words that cut deeply, actions that left scars, silences that created emptiness. These wounds are not visible to the eye, but they shape the way I live and love. I ask you to touch those hidden places. Bring forgiveness where bitterness has taken root. Bring peace where anger still smolders. Bring courage where fear remains. Let healing flow not only to my body and mind, also to my relationships and my heart. Healing is not only for my sake, Father, but also for the sake of others. When I am whole, I can serve more freely. When I am restored, I can love more deeply. When I am renewed, I can give more fully. Let my healing become a testimony that encourages others to bring their brokenness to you. Let them see in me the evidence that no wound is too deep, no pain too lasting, no weakness too great for your restoring power. So this morning I stand before you as one in need, not ashamed but hopeful. I believe that you delight in making broken things whole. I believe that you take ashes and turn them into beauty. I believe that your healing reaches further than I can imagine, touching not only what is seen, but also what is hidden. Father, heal me so that I may walk with you in strength, live with you in clarity, and serve you with a spirit fully alive. Father, as you bring healing to my body, mind, and spirit, I realize that each new step of this journey also requires provision. To walk with strength restored is not enough unless there is also sustenance for the path ahead. I know that my needs are many, and sometimes they weigh heavily on my heart. Yet I also know that you are the one who provides, the one who never withholds what is truly needed, the one who prepares even before I ask. So this morning I bring before you the practical concerns of life, trusting not in my own ability to provide, but in your abundant care. Father, I confess that I often worry about whether there will be enough strength for the tasks, enough resources for the responsibilities, enough wisdom for the decisions. Worry creeps in quietly, convincing me to cling tightly to what I have, or to run ahead frantically trying to secure more. Yet you remind me that provision does not come through fear or striving, but through trust. You provide in ways that I cannot predict, sometimes through the work of my hands, sometimes through the kindness of others, sometimes through blessings that arrive unexpectedly. Teach me to see your hand in each form of provision. I ask you today for the resources needed to walk faithfully. Provide food for the body, shelter for rest, strength for work, clarity for choices. Provide also the unseen necessities, courage when I feel small, patience when I am tested, peace when I am anxious. Remind me that provision is not limited to material supply, but flows also in the unseen graces that sustain my soul. Father, help me to remember that provision is not about abundance for its own sake, but about enough for the journey. Sometimes I desire more than I need, hoping that excess will shield me from fear. Yet you teach me that daily bread is enough, that reliance on you day by day draws me closer. Keep me from hoarding blessings out of insecurity. Teach me to hold with open hands, to receive gratefully, and to give generously, trusting that tomorrow you will provide again. I think of the ways you have provided before, times when I did not know how I would endure, Yet the answer came in perfect timing. Times when I thought all was lost, yet you opened a new door. Times when I prayed in silence, and provision arrived in ways greater than I imagined. Let these memories strengthen my trust today. What you have done before, you can do again. Father, I also bring before you the needs of those I love. Provide for their homes, their health, their hearts. Where they feel lack, meet them with abundance. Where they feel uncertainty, meet them with assurance. Where they feel despair, meet them with hope. Let me not only pray for provision, but also be willing to be part of the answer, to share what I have, to support where I can, to bless as I have been blessed. Sometimes, Father, provision requires me to wait. The answer does not always come when I expect. And in the waiting, doubt grows loud. Teach me to trust in delay, to believe that waiting is not absence, but preparation. Teach me to look for the hidden gifts within the waiting itself. Patience formed. Faith strengthened. Gratitude deepened. Let me not miss the lessons of waiting while longing for the outcome. I also know that provision is not always material. Sometimes the greatest gift you provide is guidance, wisdom to know the next step when the road is unclear. Father, grant me insight today. Speak into the decisions that weigh on me. Show me when to move and when to pause. Open the doors that lead forward and close those that would harm me. Let me recognize your provision, not only in what you place in my hands, but also in the direction you place before my feet. So as I walk into this day, let me walk with confidence that I will not lack what is needed. The path may not always be easy, but it will always be supplied. I may not always have what I want, but I will always have what I need to remain faithful. Father, let my heart rest in this assurance. Let gratitude replace worry, trust replace fear, and peace replace striving. For when you provide, it is always enough, always timely, always good. Father, as you provide for my needs and remind me that your care is always enough, I also recognize another truth, that provision alone is not all I require. For even when resources are given and strength is renewed, there are dangers and threats that rise against me, and those I love. Life is filled with unseen risks, with shadows that wait along the path, with moments when safety feels fragile. So this morning, Father, I turn to you not only as my provider, but also as my protector. I ask you to surround me, to shield those I hold dear, and to cover us with the safety that only comes from your presence. Father, I admit that fear sometimes grows when I think of what could harm me. News of violence, stories of loss, memories of near disasters all remind me that this world is uncertain. I try to prepare, to control, to plan my way out of danger, but I know my efforts are limited. Only you see the hidden dangers. Only you know the traps set against me before I encounter them. Only you can stand as a guard where my sight is too small. So I place my trust in you today, asking that you would go before me, behind me, and around me. I ask you to guard my steps. Father, Keep me from paths that lead to harm. Warn me when my choices bring me close to danger. Protect me from accidents, from careless moments, from the schemes of those who would do me harm. Place a hedge of your presence around me, not as a wall of fear, but as a circle of peace. Let me walk with confidence, knowing that I am never outside the reach of your protection. Father, I bring before you my family and loved ones. They are precious gifts, yet I cannot always be near to watch over them. I cannot stand at every doorway, walk every road, or shield them from every storm. But you can. So I ask you to place your hand upon them, to guide their steps, to guard their minds, to protect their hearts, whether they travel far or remain close, whether they face obvious dangers or hidden threats. Let them be safe under the shadow of your care. I also ask for protection, not only from physical harm, but from the wounds of the soul. Guard me and those I love from despair that seeks to steal joy, from bitterness that poisons relationships, from lies that distort truth. Protect us from discouragement that weakens faith, from temptation that leads astray, from fear that cripples hope. Father, place your peace as a shield around our hearts, so that no attack can pierce the trust we have in you. There are times when danger feels overwhelming, when circumstances remind me how small I am. Father, let those moments not crush me, but drive me closer to you. Let me remember that my safety is not built on the absence of threats, but on the certainty of your presence. Even when storms rage, I can rest if you are with me. Even when enemies surround, I can stand if you hold me. Even when the future feels uncertain, I can walk forward if you protect me. Father, protection is not only for survival, but also for purpose. Guard me so that I may live fully, love boldly, and serve without fear. Protect me so that I may not shrink back from what you have called me to do. Let my trust in your protection become a witness to others who live weighed down by anxiety. Let them see in me the calm assurance that safety is not found in walls or weapons, but in walking with you. I know, Father, that you do not promise a life without struggle. There will be moments when pain comes, when loss touches, when harm seems unavoidable. Yet even then, you promise that nothing can separate me from your love, that even in the valley, you remain near. So protect me not only from harm, but also within harm, so that even when difficulty comes, it cannot destroy the hope you have planted in me. So this morning I entrust myself and those I love into your keeping. Guard our paths, shield our hearts, protect our steps. Let us walk not in fear, but in confidence, not in constant worry, but in steady trust, not in our own strength, but in the safety of your presence. Father, be our protector in the midst of all that we face, so that we may move through this day with courage, with peace, and with unwavering trust in you. Father, after entrusting myself and those I love into the shelter of your protection, I recognize there are battles that require more than safety. There are barriers that stand like walls, patterns that feel unbreakable, struggles that return again and again as if determined to define me. These are the strongholds that grip my heart and mind, the hidden chains that keep me from walking freely in the life you desire for me. So this morning I bring them into your light. asking for breakthrough. I believe that where I am powerless, you are strong, and where I feel trapped, you are able to open the way forward. Father, I confess that some strongholds have grown from my own choices. Habits I allowed to take root, thoughts I entertained too long, compromises I excused until they became patterns. I have tried to break free by my own determination, but my strength falters and my resolve fades. I realize now that willpower alone cannot tear down what has become deeply rooted. Only your spirit can break these chains. So I surrender my pride and invite you into the very places I once tried to handle alone. There are also strongholds built not by my choices, but by wounds I have carried. Words spoken over me that shaped how I see myself, experiences that left scars, fears that took hold in silence. These fortresses of pain have stood for years, whispering lies that I am unworthy, unloved, or incapable of change. Father, dismantle these lies with your truth. Replace every stone of deception with the solid foundation of who you say I am. Let the power of your word break through the walls built by fear and shame. Father, breakthrough often comes through struggle, not escape. Sometimes you call me to face the very thing I want to avoid, not to crush me, but to free me. Give me courage to confront what has held me captive. Give me persistence when progress feels slow. Give me faith to believe that each prayer, each step, each moment of trust is part of the breakthrough you are working. Even when I cannot see the wall crumbling, let me trust that it is weakening by your hand. I ask also for breakthrough in the lives of those around me. Father, you know the chains that bind my loved ones. Whether they are addictions, fears, or destructive patterns, you see the strongholds that steal their joy and hinder their freedom. I lift them to you now, asking that your power would move on their behalf. Break through the darkness with light. Break through despair with hope. Break through captivity with freedom. Let them experience the release that only your presence can bring. Father, I know that strongholds are not only personal, but also collective. Families, communities, even nations can be held captive by cycles of division, injustice, or despair. I bring these larger burdens to you as well. Where bitterness has divided, bring reconciliation. Where oppression has taken hold, bring justice. Where hopelessness has settled, bring revival. Let your power break through strongholds too great for human strength, reminding us that nothing is beyond your reach. In my own heart, Father, I ask for discernment to recognize the subtle forms of bondage. Sometimes strongholds disguise themselves as comfort, as routine, as what feels familiar. Yet these patterns drain life and dull faith. Expose them for what they are. Show me where I have accepted less than your freedom. Give me the courage to let go of what I have clung to, trusting that you have more for me than the prison I have built around myself. Father, I do not seek breakthrough only for relief, but for transformation. Tear down what holds me back so that I may rise into who you created me to be. Remove the chains so that my hands are free to serve, my voice free to speak truth, my heart free to love. Let breakthrough lead not only to freedom from the past, but to faith for the future. So this morning I stand before you, not as one defeated, but as one expectant. I bring every stronghold into your presence, trusting that walls cannot stand against your power. I ask for breakthrough that is lasting, not temporary. I ask for freedom that is full, not partial. I ask that today, in ways seen and unseen, you begin to open paths where there have been none, to release what has been bound, and to make a way where I thought there was no way. Father, lead me into the wide open space of your freedom, where I can walk with courage, with joy, and with a heart unchained. Father, after asking you for breakthrough and for the tearing down of strongholds, I now realize that freedom is not meant to be lived in isolation. You do not release me so that I can walk this path alone, but so that I may journey together with others in love. My walk with you is deeply personal, yet it is never only individual. You place me within community, within families, friendships, and circles of faith, because growth and strength are found not just in solitude, but also in unity. So this morning I bring before you the desire for harmony with those who walk beside me. Father, I admit that unity does not always come easily. Differences rise quickly. Misunderstandings spread, pride builds walls, and wounds create distance. At times I have chosen to guard myself rather than to open up, to defend my opinion rather than to listen, to cling to my way rather than to seek peace. I confess these failures to love well, and I ask you to soften my heart. Teach me to value others not for how they agree with me, but for how they reflect your image. Let me honor the dignity you have given to each one. I ask you to knit together hearts that have been pulled apart. In families where tension has grown, breathe patience and gentleness. In friendships where silence has replaced conversation, bring courage to reconnect. In communities divided by fear or suspicion, sow seeds of understanding. Father, let unity not be built on sameness, but on love stronger than differences. Teach me to walk humbly with others, remembering that humility opens doors that pride keeps closed. Father, unity is more than avoiding conflict. It is actively choosing compassion, actively seeking reconciliation, actively celebrating one another's joys, and carrying one another's burdens. Let me not only tolerate, but truly love, not only forgive, but also restore. Give me the strength to take the first step toward peace, even when I feel wronged. Give me the wisdom to know when to speak and when to remain silent. Give me the courage to listen with empathy instead of waiting for my turn to respond. There are people in my life, Father, with whom unity feels difficult, even impossible. Old hurts stand between us, or different paths have drawn us apart. Yet I bring them to you, believing that no relationship is beyond your power to heal. If reconciliation is possible, guide me toward it. If distance must remain, guard my heart from bitterness, and keep me ready for peace when the moment comes. Let me carry no grudge that poisons my spirit. Father, unity also means celebrating the gifts you have placed in others. Too often I compare, measuring myself against them, feeling envy when they succeed or pride when they struggle. Free me from this cycle. Teach me to rejoice in the blessings of others as if they were my own. Teach me to recognize that the journey is not a competition, but a shared walk where each step strengthens the whole. Let my words today be instruments of unity, words that build rather than tear down, that encourage rather than criticize, that bless rather than wound. Let my actions today reflect the same. Small acts of kindness, choices of patience, decisions to cooperate instead of resist. All these shape the fabric of community. Father, let my presence bring peace into the spaces I enter. I ask also for unity among those who follow you, for the larger body of faith that stretches beyond walls and boundaries. Too often we divide over differences of practice or understanding, forgetting that what binds us is greater than what separates us. Remind us that we are one family, one body, one people called to love. Father, raise in us a deeper desire for unity that reflects your heart, so that the world may see your love through our togetherness. So as I continue this journey, Father, let me not walk alone. Teach me to value those who travel beside me, to forgive when they stumble, to receive forgiveness when I fall, to celebrate when they succeed, and to stand with them when they suffer. Let unity become the song of our steps, the strength of our walk, the witness of our lives. May those who see us together recognize that love has bound us and that you are the one who makes us one. Father, as you teach me the beauty of unity with those who walk beside me, I realize that this same spirit must also shape the work of my hands and the calling of my life. My vocation, whether seen by many or hidden from view, is not separate from my faith. It is the ground where my integrity, my generosity, and my unity with others are tested and displayed. So this morning I bring before you the tasks, responsibilities, and roles that fill my days, asking you to make them holy. Let my work not be divided from my worship, but become a living offering of devotion to you. Father, I confess that I often see my work only through the lens of pressure and performance. Deadlines, expectations, and demands can consume my vision until I forget why labor at all. At times I chase recognition, at times I fear failure, and at times I grow wary of the repetition. Yet you remind me that every effort, no matter how small, can carry eternal significance when is surrendered to you. My vocation is not simply about producing results, but about reflecting your presence in the midst of it. I ask you to consecrate my skills. Father, every talent I have is a gift from you. Every opportunity to use them is an invitation to honor you. Let me not grow careless or prideful with these gifts, but use them with diligence and humility. Whether my work is creative, physical, intellectual, or relational, let each part of it be touched by your Spirit. Let me carry excellence not for applause, but because it mirrors the care you pour into all creation. Father, holiness in vocation also means purity of heart in the midst of challenge. When I am tempted to cut corners, guard me with honesty. When I am tempted to take credit that is not mine, keep me humble. when I am tempted to treat others as tools for my success. Remind me of their worth. Let me resist the subtle compromises that erode character. Let my workplace, wherever it may be, become a place where truth and grace shine through me. I ask for wisdom in decisions that affect not only myself, but also those around me. Father, guide me when I must choose between competing priorities. Guide me when integrity may cost me comfort, or when faithfulness may appear less efficient. Let my choices reflect trust in you rather than fear of loss. Let me measure success not by numbers or praise, but by faithfulness to the purpose you have given me. Father, I lift to you the relationships connected to my vocation. Colleagues, clients, leaders, students, or those I serve. Each one is more than a role. Each one is a person loved by you. Teach me to see them not only as co-workers or partners, but as souls worthy of respect and compassion. Let my words in professional settings be seasoned with kindness. Let my actions reflect patience even under pressure. Let my presence bring calm in conflict and encouragement in struggle. There are days when vocation feels heavy. Father, when the work drains rather than gives life, on those days remind me that I do not labor alone. Remind me that my strength is drawn from you, that my calling is sustained by you, and that my efforts are never wasted in your sight. Teach me to find meaning in the hidden, to find joy in the small, to find purpose even when results are unseen. Father, I also ask that you use my vocation beyond my own needs. Let my work contribute to the good of others, to the healing of brokenness, to the building of what is just and true. Whether my role feels large or small, let it serve as part of your greater plan. Let the way I carry myself in my calling reflect holiness, not by perfection, but by sincerity, by integrity, by love expressed in action. So as I step into today's responsibilities, Father, I dedicate my vocation to you. Let my mind be focused, my hands diligent, my heart steadfast, and my spirit open. Let the hours I spend working not be disconnected from the hours I spend praying, but be woven together as one seamless offering. In this way, let my calling become holy ground, where I encounter you in every task, and where others may encounter your presence through me. Father, as I place my vocation in your hands and seek holiness in the work of my life, I recognize that my calling is not only for myself, but also for the place where I live. My labor, my presence, my choices all find their context in the community around me, in the streets and neighborhoods, in the markets and schools, in the gathering places of this city. You have placed me here not by accident, but with intention. And so this morning I lift up my city before you, interceding for its people, its leaders, its struggles, and its future. Father, I see both beauty and brokenness in the place where I dwell. I see creativity, resilience, and generosity. Yet I also see injustice, division, and need. The same streets that carry laughter also carry pain. The same walls that shelter families also shelter loneliness. I confess that at times I have turned away, too focused on my own life to notice the cries of my city. Forgive me for indifference, and awaken in me a heart that carries the burdens of this place in prayer. I pray for peace within the city. Father, in a world where conflict can erupt quickly, I ask that you calm tensions and soften hardened hearts. Where fear spreads suspicion, sow trust. Where divisions mark communities, build bridges of understanding. Let the city be known not for unrest, but for harmony, not for hostility, but for unity. Father, I pray for justice in the city. Too many live unseen. Too many are treated unfairly. Too many are silenced. Let those in positions of authority use their influence, not for personal gain, but for the good of all. Expose corruption where it hides. Protect the vulnerable from exploitation, and raise up leaders who love truth. Let fairness and compassion guide decisions in courts, in businesses, in schools, and in government. I pray for provision in the city. Father, you see those who struggle to find food, who search for work, who wonder how to survive another day. Open doors of opportunity, supply resources where there is lack, and inspire generosity in those who have more than enough. Let the city be a place where needs are not ignored, but met with compassion, where communities rally together to ensure no one is forgotten. Father, I pray for healing in the city. Some wounds are visible in broken homes, in neglected neighborhoods, in damaged systems. Other wounds are hidden in weary minds, in anxious hearts, in spirits carrying despair. Let healing spread like light through the streets. Raise up counselors, teachers, doctors, and neighbors who bring care. Raise up communities of faith that offer hope. Raise up ordinary people who choose kindness and patience in daily encounters. I pray also for the spiritual renewal of the city. Father, awaken hearts to seek you. Let places of worship be filled not only with tradition, but with genuine hunger for your presence. Let conversations in homes and workplaces turn toward faith, not as argument, but as testimony of life transformed. Let the city be known not only for its industry or culture, but for the presence of people walking humbly with their God. Father, I lift up the leaders of the city. Grant them wisdom beyond their own, courage to make just decisions, and humility to serve rather than to be served. Protect them from the temptations of power, and surround them with counselors who value truth. Remind them that authority is stewardship, and that their choices ripple through countless lives. Father, as I lift my city before you and intercede for the people and places closest to me, I realize that your heart is not limited by borders or boundaries. You see beyond the streets I know, beyond the neighborhoods where I walk, beyond the nations where I live. Your love stretches across oceans, mountains, and deserts, holding every people and every culture in your care. And so this morning, Father, I turn my prayer toward the wider horizon, lifting up the nations of the world and asking that your mercy, justice, and peace cover the earth. Father, I confess how small my vision often becomes. I worry about my own concerns. I focus on what affects me directly, and I forget that millions of others wake up with burdens far heavier than mine. Families fleeing violence, children growing up in poverty, communities suffering from disaster or war. Forgive me for the times I have turned away from these realities out of convenience or indifference. Open my heart to feel their weight, not as a crushing load, but as a call to prayer and compassion. I pray for peace among the nations. Father, where conflict rages, let weapons fall silent. Where hatred fuels division, plant seeds of reconciliation. Where fear drives mistrust, sow courage to choose dialogue. Protect those caught in the middle of violence, the innocent who long for safety, the refugees who search for a place to belong. Let leaders rise who value life over power, service over ambition, justice over greed. Guide their decisions with wisdom greater than their own, so that peace may take root and grow strong. Father, I pray for provision in places of scarcity. Too many wake each morning wondering if they will eat. Too many search for clean water. Too many suffer without access to care. You see every hungry face, every weakened body, every desperate cry. Stir compassion in nations with abundance to share with those in need. Raise up people willing to go, to serve, to give, to stand alongside the poor and the vulnerable. Let generosity cross borders as freely as trade, and let compassion become as valued as wealth. I pray for justice on the global stage. Father, where systems exploit the weak, dismantle them. Where corruption steals from the poor, expose it. Where power is abused, restrain it. Raise up leaders who stand for truth even when it costs them, and protect those who risk their lives to defend the dignity of others. Let every nation learn that true strength is found not in domination, but in service, not in oppression, but in righteousness. Father, I pray for healing across the world. Nations wounded by disaster, scared by history, torn by division, places where creation itself groans from misuse. Where storms, fires, and droughts ravage the land, bring restoration to earth, air, and sea. Inspire wisdom to steward resources well. Let healing flow not only to the soil, but also to the souls of people burdened by grief and despair. Let hope rise even in the most broken places. I pray also for the spiritual awakening of the nations. Father, let people everywhere turn their eyes toward you, from crowded cities to remote villages, from wealthy nations to struggling ones. Awaken hearts with hunger for truth and thirst for your presence. Let your spirit move across continents, breaking barriers of culture and language, drawing people into unity through faith. Let worship rise in every tongue. Let hope shine in every land. Let love bind people across every divide. Father, I lift before you the next generation across the globe. Children and young people who will inherit the world we leave behind. Protect them from despair, from exploitation, from hopelessness. Fill them with courage to dream of a better future, wisdom to pursue it, and compassion to carry it out with love. Let them not be crushed by the brokenness they inherit, but inspired to become builders of peace and carriers of light. Finally, Father, I ask that you start with me. Let my life not only pray for the world, but also reflect your heart for it. Show me ways to act globally even while living locally. Teach me to support those who serve abroad, to use resources with care, to raise my voice for justice, and to welcome the stranger with open arms. Let me never believe that I am too small to make a difference. For when I align with your heart, even small acts ripple across borders. So this morning I stand at the edge of my own horizon and look beyond. I see nations in need of peace, peoples in need of provision, cultures in need of healing, and generations in need of hope. Father, let your kingdom come and your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Until that day, keep me faithful to pray, to serve, and to love with a vision as wide as the world you hold in your hands. Father, after lifting my eyes to the nations and interceding for the world beyond my own reach, I return again to the path beneath my feet. The global horizon reminds me how vast your heart is, but it also reminds me that I am still a pilgrim on a long road. This journey is not completed in a single day, nor is it free from difficulty. There are stretches of the path that are steep, moments when strength fades, seasons when weariness weighs heavier than hope. And yet, Father, you call me to persevere, to keep walking, to endure with faith even when the road seems endless. Father, I confess that perseverance does not come naturally to me. I crave quick results, instant answers, swift resolutions. When obstacles rise, I long for escape more than endurance. When delays stretch on, I lose patience. When hardship lingers, I question whether I can keep going. But you remind me that perseverance is not about my strength, but about yours. It is not about pushing through with stubborn will, but about leaning on the one who carries me when my steps falter. Teach me to see perseverance not as a burden, but as a gift. Through endurance, character is formed. Through steadfastness, trust deepens. Through patience, hope grows stronger, just as a seed pushes slowly through soil to reach the light. So my faith matures as I press on through trials. Father, help me to embrace this process, to see value in the waiting, to recognize beauty in persistence, to honor you not only in my victories, but also in my endurance. Father, I ask you to strengthen me for the long journey. When my body feels heavy, renew my energy. When my mind feels clouded, restore clarity. When my spirit feels faint, breathe courage again. Let me rise each morning with a resolve not built on emotion but on commitment. Let me measure progress not by speed, but by faithfulness. Even if my steps are slow, let them remain steady, moving forward with trust. There are times, Father, when the road feels lonely. Friends may grow distant, companions may falter, encouragement may be scarce. In those moments, remind me that I am never alone, that you walk beside me, that unseen hosts cheer me on, that generations before me endured by the same grace. Let their example inspire me to keep walking. Their faith remind me that perseverance is possible. Their stories strengthen my own. Father, perseverance also means resisting the temptation to turn back. There are moments when the past calls with false promises of comfort, when old habits whisper that surrender would be easier. Guard me from longing for what once enslaved me. Keep my eyes fixed on the horizon of your promises, so that I do not lose sight of the purpose for which I walk. Teach me to value the eternal more than the temporary, the unseen more than the visible, the future you hold more than the familiarity I leave behind. I pray also for those who walk beside me. Father, many are weary too, burdened by struggles I may not see. Give me eyes to notice when they stumble, hands to help when they fall, words to encourage when they doubt. Let perseverance not be an isolated effort, but a shared journey, where we carry one another as burdens and remind each other of the goal ahead. Let unity and perseverance intertwine, so that together we endure what alone might defeat us. Father, I know perseverance does not mean ignoring pain or pretending strength. It means acknowledging weakness while choosing to keep moving. It means crying out when the load is heavy, yet trusting that you hear and sustain. It means holding on to hope even when emotions waver. Let me learn to walk honestly yet faithfully, fragile yet steadfast, wary yet willing, knowing that each step is seen by you. So this morning I ask for the grace to persevere, grace to rise when I stumble, grace to continue when I want to quit, grace to believe when doubt surrounds me. Let my life be marked not by quick flashes of passion that fade, but by steady devotion that endures. Father, let perseverance shape me into one who finishes well, who does not give up midway, who arrives at the end not because of strength alone, but because of faith sustained by you. Father, as perseverance strengthens me for the long road and teaches me to keep walking even through difficulty, I realize that endurance alone is not enough to carry me with joy. The strength to press on must be balanced with a spirit of thanksgiving. For gratitude transforms the journey from mere survival into a song of hope. Without gratitude, perseverance becomes heavy and joyless. With gratitude, even hardship is softened by light. So this morning I ask you to form in me a heart of thankfulness that remains steady in every season of life. Father, I confess that my gratitude often rises and falls with circumstance. When blessings are visible, my thanks come quickly. When trials stretch on, my lips grow silent. I allow disappointment to overshadow the good, and I forget how much you have already done. Forgive me for the times I have taken your gifts for granted. Forgive me for the days I have rushed through without pausing to notice the small miracles around me. Teach me to see not only what is missing, but what is present, not only what is broken, but also what is whole. Help me, Father, to cultivate gratitude in the ordinary, for breath that fills my lungs, for the steady beat of my heart, for the rising of the sun, for the kindness of a friend, for food on the table, for rest in the night. These daily mercies are easy to overlook, yet they are proof of your faithful care. Let my eyes remain open to them, and let my spirit respond with thanks before complaint has a chance to take root. Father, gratitude in every season means giving thanks not only in times of abundance, but also in times of lack. It means choosing to see your hand even when provision feels scarce, choosing to trust your plan even when clarity is hidden, choosing to honor you even when pain is real. This does not deny difficulty, but places it within the larger story of your goodness. Teach me to say thank you in the valley as well as on the mountaintop. in the waiting as well as in the fulfillment, in the storm as well as in the calm. I ask you to remind me of the past. Father, let me recall the countless ways you have carried me. The prayers answered, the doors opened, the strength given at just the right moment. Memory fuels gratitude, and gratitude strengthens faith. When I look back, I see that I was never abandoned, that you were present in ways I did not notice at the time. Let those memories keep my heart anchored in thanks, even when today feels uncertain. Father, gratitude also guards my heart from bitterness. When I choose thankfulness, envy loses power. When I remember what I have received, I stop comparing my life to others. When I count blessings, pride gives way to humility. Gratitude shifts the focus from what I lack to what you provide, from self-centered striving to God-centered trust. Protect me with this spirit of thankfulness, especially when the world tempts me toward discontent. I ask that my gratitude spill outward to others. Let me not only whisper thanks in private, but express it through kindness, through words of encouragement, through acts of generosity. Let my life communicate appreciation to those who serve quietly, to those who love faithfully, to those who bless me in ways big and small. Father, let gratitude become a language I speak fluently, a gift I give freely, a rhythm that marks my relationships. Father, I know there will be seasons ahead that challenge this posture of thanks, times of loss, times of disappointment, times of longing that feels unanswered. In those moments, anchor me in the truth that gratitude is not an emotion, but a decision. Teach me to choose it even when I do not feel it, to declare it even when my heart trembles, to practice it until it becomes second nature. Let gratitude shape my perspective so that joy rises even in sorrow, so that peace steadies me even in uncertainty, so that hope carries me even in trial. So this morning, Father, I lift my voice in thanks for what is behind me, for what is before me, and for what is within me. I thank you for the people who walk beside me, for the opportunities that stretch me, for the grace that sustains me. I thank you that in every season, whether bright or dark, whether easy or hard, you remain the same. And because you remain faithful, gratitude will never run dry. Father, as gratitude fills my heart and teaches me to see beauty in every season, my soul begins to lift its gaze beyond the present moment. Thanksgiving for what is here and now awakens longing for what is yet to come. The blessings of today are real and precious, yet they are only glimpses of something greater, faint reflections of a glory that waits ahead. Gratitude grounds me, but anticipation carries me forward. So this morning I pray with eyes lifted, asking you to strengthen in me the hope of glory, the certainty of your promises, and the joy of what lies beyond this passing world. Father, I confess that too often I cling tightly to the temporary. I act as though this life is all there is, chasing comfort, fearing loss, mourning endings as though they are final. I forget that every joy here is a shadow of a greater joy. Every sorrow here a reminder that something more complete is coming. Teach me not to despise what is fleeting, but to hold it lightly, to cherish what you give while remembering that it points beyond itself. Help me to live fully in this world while longing for the world to come. I ask you to deepen in me the anticipation of your promises. Let me remember that one day every tear will be wiped away, every wound healed, every injustice made right, every shadow chased by light. Let me carry this vision into my daily steps so that discouragement does not defeat me and despair does not take hold when trials press hard. Remind me that they are not forever. When grief weighs heavy, remind me that resurrection is certain. When hope feels fragile, remind me that glory is sure. Father, anticipation of glory does not mean escaping the present. It means living here with a heart anchored in eternity. It means working, loving, serving, and enduring with the awareness that all of it is part of a larger story that ends not in defeat, but in triumph. It means letting hope shape how I handle today, how I respond to pain, how I treat others, how I persevere in faith. Teach me to see my small moments as threads woven into a tapestry far more beautiful than I can yet see. I lift before you the longing that stirs in me for the day, when all will be made new, the day when creation itself will be restored, when brokenness will be undone, when joy will overflow without end. Father, let this longing not make me restless, but make me faithful. Let it not cause me to withdraw from the present, but to engage it with purpose. Knowing that what I do here carries into eternity, let the hope of glory fuel endurance in trial, courage in difficulty, generosity in scarcity, and joy in service. Father, I also pray for those around me who struggle to believe that glory is real. Many walk with heavy burdens, convinced that suffering has the final word. Many see the brokenness of the world and doubt that it can ever be healed. Many look at death and cannot imagine life beyond it. I ask that you use my life, fragile as it is, to point them toward hope. Let my endurance whisper that something greater is ahead. Let my gratitude testify that blessings are not random, but signs of your love. Let my anticipation invite them to lift their eyes as well. I know, Father, that waiting for glory requires patience. Sometimes the delay feels long, the distance between promise and fulfillment hard to bear. In those moments, strengthen me with glimpses of your presence here and now. Remind me that eternity begins not only in the future, but also in the present, when your spirit fills me with peace, when your joy breaks through in worship, when your love is tasted in community. Let these moments be foretastes of the fullness to come. So this morning, Father, I stand with gratitude for what is and anticipation for what will be. I thank you for the mercies of today, while I long for the glory of tomorrow. I hold tightly to the hope that this road, with all its turns and trials, leads to a destination beyond imagining. And as I walk, let anticipation not make me impatient, but faithful, not detached, but engaged, not fearful, but joyful. For the story does not end in darkness, but in everlasting light, and that light already begins to dawn in me. Father, as I arrive at this final moment of prayer, after walking through confession, surrender, trust, gratitude, perseverance, and hope, I pause to breathe in the stillness of morning and allow your presence to settle over me like the gentle warmth of the rising sun. This long journey of words has been more than sentences strung together. It has been a path of the soul, a conversation unfolding step by step, a slow unwrapping of trust as each chapter drew me closer to you. Now, standing here at the edge of this prayerful road, I do not feel an ending but a beginning. For every morning is the threshold of a new story, every dawn the opening of fresh mercy, every breath an invitation into deeper life with you. Father, I thank you for the grace that has carried me through this journey. Each chapter reflected a piece of the heart's longing, each word an attempt to put shape to what often feels too deep for expression. You listened patiently when I faltered, held me gently when I confessed, strengthened me when I surrendered, and renewed me when I doubted. In this final chapter, I do not come with requests as much as with gratitude. Gratitude for the ways you reveal yourself in quiet whispers and in steady strength. Gratitude for the gift of prayer itself. Gratitude for the assurance that even as these words pause, your presence does not. Father, I ask that what has been spoken here would not remain only as words heard and then forgotten, but as seeds planted deep in the soul. Let them take root, watered by your Spirit, growing into faith that perseveres, love that heals, and hope that endures. Let these prayers remind me tomorrow, and the day after, and in every season yet to come, that you are near. Let them live in those who have listened, guiding them into their own quiet conversations with you, encouraging them when the road grows heavy, lifting them when despair whispers lies. I pray also for those who have walked with me through these 24 chapters, listening, reflecting, and opening their own hearts in the process. Father, bless them richly for their willingness to journey this far, where they carry burdens. Lighten them where they hold questions. Meet them with wisdom. Where they long for healing, pour out comfort. Where they hunger for more of you, satisfy them with the bread of life. Let this shared prayer become not an isolated moment, but the beginning of deeper trust, deeper love, deeper faith. As the series of prayers draws to its close, Father, I sense the gentle truth that there are no real endings with you. Every prayer is connected to the next, every word a continuation of an eternal dialogue. Just as one sunrise gives way to another, so one prayer prepares for the next, and the conversation never truly stops. Teach me to live in that rhythm, where prayer is not confined to certain moments, but woven through the entire fabric of life, where every breath is a reminder, every step a prayer, every act a reflection of devotion. Father, let the image that lingers now be one of light. Morning light breaking across the horizon, soft yet powerful, steady yet ever new. That light is your presence, dispelling shadows, guiding steps, warming hearts. Let me carry that light within, letting it spill into the spaces I enter today. Let others sense not my strength, but your radiance reflected through me. And when the day grows dark, let me remember that light is never gone, only hidden for a moment, waiting to rise again. Thank you, Father, for being the companion of this journey, the anchor in confession, the refuge in fear, the healer in brokenness, the provider in need, the protector in danger, the author of hope, the giver of joy. Thank you for listening not only to these words, but also to the silence between them, for understanding what I could not say, for welcoming me as I am. To those who have walked this prayerful road with me, I offer my thanks as well. Thank you for staying through every chapter, for giving your time, for opening your heart to listen and to reflect. Your presence in this journey matters. If these prayers have touched you, I invite you to share your thoughts, your reflections, your own prayers in the space below. Your words may become encouragement to another who quietly longs for hope. And if this series has strengthened your faith, I encourage you to stay connected, to continue walking with us in prayer and reflection. Subscribe to this channel so you will not miss the next steps we take together. Share these prayers with others who may need a reminder that they are not alone, that light still breaks the night, that hope is still alive. Keep returning, not only here but to the presence of the One who is always near, day after day, morning after morning. Now, as this chapter draws to a close, I step into the day ahead with quiet expectation. The words of prayer rest behind me, but their echo carries forward. I go not in silence but in trust, not in emptiness but in fullness, not in darkness but in light. And as the first breeze of morning brushes against my face, I feel again the gentle truth that prayer is never finished, only continued, like the rising of the sun across the horizon, like the flow of living water that never runs dry.